You're standing in the kitchen, looking for your keys, and you say it out loud. Where did I put you? Nobody's home, nobody's listening. You just talk to an object like it owed you an answer. And honestly, you do this more than you think. Here's the thing. You assume talking to yourself is something you only do when you're alone or stressed or maybe a little unhinged. Well, the real answer is far stranger. You're talking to yourself almost constantly. Not always out loud, but almost every waking minute, there's a voice running in your head, narrating, judging, planning, arguing with itself. And it's not a glitch. It's actually one of the most important tools your brain has. So, where does this voice come from? Go back almost a century to a Russian psychologist named Lev Vygotsky, watching small children play. He noticed something odd. Kids talk out loud constantly while they figure things out. Where does this piece go? No, not there. They're not being weird. At that age, thought and speech haven't fully separated yet, so the thinking just spills out as talking. Here's the part that matters for you as an adult decades later. That out loud chatter never really disappears. It just moves inward. It gets quieter, more polished, and eventually you stop noticing it's even there. Which means that voice narrating your life right now, it's not random. It's a leftover skill from when you were 4 years old trying to figure out how a puzzle piece fit. Okay, but does it actually do anything useful? Turns out, yeah, a lot. Picture an experiment where people had to find one specific object hidden among a bunch of others on a screen. Half of them said the object's name out loud while they searched. The other half stayed quiet. The talkers found it faster every time. Saying a word, even under your breath, seems to sharpen your attention toward exactly what that word points to. Your own voice works like a search tool your brain built for itself. And you've probably used it 100 times without realizing it. Keys, wallet, passport, where are you? Think about how often you actually do this without thinking twice. Cooking dinner and muttering the recipe step under your breath. Walking through a parking lot, whispering the row number so you don't forget where you parked. Even just counting out loud when you lose track of something. None of that is silly. That's your brain pulling out one of its oldest tools and putting it to work. And it goes deeper than finding lost objects. There's a researcher who spent years studying what people call their inner chatter, the voice that shows up the second something goes wrong. You miss an opportunity, you embarrass yourself in front of people, and that inner voice gets loud, repetitive, and honestly, a little cruel. But here's the strange part he found. The way you talk to yourself in those moments changes everything about how you cope. People who use their own name or the word you instead of I while talking themselves through something hard tend to calm down faster and think more clearly. Saying, you can handle this instead of I can handle this creates just enough distance for your brain to treat the problem like it's coaching someone else through it. Same voice, same brain, completely different result. You've probably done this without a label for it. Maybe before a job interview, you caught yourself thinking, okay, you've got this. Not, I've got this. Just a small shift in wording. It feels almost identical in the moment, but underneath, your brain is doing something different. It's stepping back half a step, treating you the way a good coach treats an athlete. Calm, a little removed, focused on the outcome instead of the panic. Which raises a strange question. If your inner voice can be your coach, your search engine, your therapist, your harshest critic all in one day, who exactly is it talking to? Some people describe inner speech as a kind of internal debate, almost like two characters living in your head. One plans, one reacts, one pushes you forward, one holds you back. Most of the time, you don't even notice the switch between them. You just experience it as thinking. But pay attention next time you're deciding something, even small, like what to order at a restaurant. There's a version of you weighing options and a version of you reacting to those options. And there's somehow both you talking it out in real time. Here's where it gets even stranger. Not everyone experiences this the same way. Some researchers have found that a noticeable chunk of people report having little to no inner voice at all.
No constant narration, no internal monologue running in the background, just images, impressions, a kind of wordless thinking. And for a long time, almost nobody studied this because, well, it's incredibly hard to describe the absence of something you've never had. People with a loud inner voice assume everyone has one. People without it assume the loud version is just a metaphor other people use. It took scientists running careful, repeated interviews, catching people in random moments, and asking exactly what was happening in their head right then to even confirm that both experiences are real and common. So, if you've ever wondered why a friend describes hearing themselves think and you have no idea what that even means, or the opposite, you might just be living on different ends of the same spectrum. Now, here's the part that should make you sit back for a second. This whole system isn't unique to English or to any one language. People who speak more than one language often report something fascinating. The language they use to talk to themselves shifts depending on the emotional weight of the moment. Some bilingual speakers say they curse in one language but comfort themselves in another. Some switch entirely when doing math in their head, defaulting to whichever language they first learned numbers in, even decades later, even if they barely use that language anymore for anything else. Your inner voice isn't just borrowed from speech, it's borrowed from whichever language felt safest or clearest or most automatic at the exact moment you needed it. And it's not just regular people muttering to themselves in kitchens and parking lots. Elite athletes train this on purpose. Coaches now teach deliberate self-talk as a performance tool, the same way they'd teach footwork or breathing. A sprinter repeating a single word in the final seconds before a race. A gymnast running through a quiet countdown before stepping onto the mat. It's not superstition. It's the same mechanism as the object-finding experiment, just under far higher stakes. Naming the thing you need to focus on, out loud or just under your breath, narrows your attention exactly where it needs to be, right when your nervous system is trying to pull it everywhere else at once. So, here's the twist. You've probably been taught somewhere along the line that talking to yourself out loud is a sign something's wrong with you. The research says the opposite. Kids do it because it works. Adults do it because deep down, it still works too. You just got a little embarrassed and pushed it inside. The whisper under your breath when you're trying to remember something. The come on, you mutter when you're running late. That's not your brain malfunctioning. That's a 4-year-old's trick, fully grown, quietly keeping you sharp. There's a modern wrinkle to all of this worth sitting with for a second. You probably talk to devices now too. You ask your phone a question out loud in an empty room. You mutter at a search bar like it can hear your frustration. You argue, quietly, with a notification. In a strange way, you've just extended your inner monologue outward again, the way it started when you were small, except now there's something that occasionally talks back. It's the same loop, dressed in new technology. Thought, turned into language, turned back into thought, running on a loop your whole life, whether you're 4 years old stacking blocks or 40 years old stuck in traffic. So, tonight, when you're alone in your kitchen, looking for something you swear you just had in your hand, and you hear yourself say, "Come on, where are you?" Don't feel strange about it. That voice has been with you since you were a toddler stacking blocks, narrating every move out loud, because that's literally how your brain figured anything out. It just got quieter, it got more polished, but it never actually left. You're standing in the kitchen looking for your keys, and you say it out loud. This time, you smile a little, because you finally know exactly who you're talking to.